Hello, this is Bill Steffen. Thanks so much for checking my video today. We got a lot to talk about. Big tornado anniversary. We'll talk about that later. And we'll take a look at our chances for severe weather here over this coming week. Some interesting temperatures today. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Grand Rapids was 76. At the Muskegon Pier, the temperature was, well, about the same, 77 degrees with an east wind coming off the land. The wind was 9 miles an hour. The humidity was just 29%. Now, look what happened in just an hour's time. 3 p.m., Muskegon Pier is 63. That's a drop of 13 degrees in an hour, right in the mid part of the day when it should be warming up. The wind had turned to the northwest at 15 miles an hour off the cold waters of Lake Michigan, and the humidity had gone up from 29% to 62%. So you can see how fast things can change there as the lake breeze develops during the afternoon. Okay, what's the lake forecast look like for today? This Sunday, we start out with southeast winds. It shifts to the southwest coming in off the water during the afternoon. Most of the day, 5 to 10 knots. It'll be closer to the 10 knots during the afternoon. Waves will increase to about 1 to 2 feet. Look for high temperatures in the upper 60s. And we may see a similar scenario where temperatures rise up close to 70 and then the wind turns off the lake and it drops back down a little bit. Water's still chilly out there. Look at the water temperatures. Grand Haven, 49. Saugatuck, 50. Muskegon Bowie at 54, just a touch warmer out there. And Reed's Lake made it up to 71. Now, the temperature there started the day at 67, and this is just the surface water. This is not down very far, but the surface water warms up with pretty much full sunshine today, and it warmed up all the way to 71 degrees. So that's pleasant. That'll get the kids in the water. Okay, let's go on now and take a look at fire weather. The air quality alerts have all expired. The visibility was better in West Michigan here today, and with winds again coming out of the south here tomorrow, that should push smoke up toward Canada and not towards us. Every day, the National Weather Service issues a fire weather forecast, and I thought I'd copy that down here so that you could read that. Also over on the right, we keep track of the fires in Manitoba. There's 28 significant fires. That's no change since yesterday. The number of firefighters has dropped to 128, and that may have something to do with the weekend here. There are 6 water bombers. For some reason, I just like that term, water bomber. 38 helicopters, that's down a couple, and 5 other aircraft. I'm guessing that those would be aircraft that drop chemicals, that red powdery, orange powdery stuff that they drop down. But all in all, they are making a little bit of progress up there. There are a lot of fires burning across southern Canada where it's been fairly dry there. Okay, let's move on and take a look then at Alaska high temperatures. We finally made it to above freezing at Utqiagvik. That is the northernmost spot in Alaska and the United States. And the picture here from not too far away, this is from Point Lay for this afternoon, and it looks like midwinter there. Look at the piles of snow on the side of the road. Most of the area up here does not have paved roads because of the permafrost there. They would crack and fall apart pretty quickly. But you can see where they do plow the snow out of the way there. But pretty interesting. That was what it looked like June the 7th, and it still looks like January the 7th up there at Point Lay. Valdez, Alaska, by the way, high temperature of 44. They've had 3 days in the 40s. Their average high temperature is 62. So while we've been on the mild side, it has been chilly in Alaska. All right, we're going to take a look at hurricanes now. This is an interesting fact. No hurricanes have appeared in the entire northern hemisphere through June the 7th. And in the satellite era, going back to 1973, that is the first time that has ever happened. The pictures that you see there on the left is the Atlantic sector, where the hurricane center says that there will not be any hurricane activity probably through the 15th and maybe even the 20th of June. And the middle one is the Eastern Pacific sector, where there are 2 red X's there where tropical storms may develop. Now, keep in mind, we're talking hurricanes now, no hurricanes through June the 7th. But they think that they'll reach tropical storm status, but maybe not hurricane status as they drift toward the northwest. And the third picture from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center shows the Western Pacific, which usually has a hurricane or two this time of year. Nothing doing out there. There's one little tropical wave, and that's all that's going on. That Western Pacific sector has been pretty quiet here over the past several years. All right, we're going to take a little time out here and thank our sponsors, beginning with Complete Care Concierge. Michelle?
And a shout out to our Bill, Steffen weather sponsors. Complete Care Concierge LLC has you covered. They are the fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service serving all of West Michigan. Whatever you need, they can clean your home, your apartment, your condo, your rental, your office, your business. They can do special circumstances. They can do on a regular basis. Whatever you need, they've got all the latest products and techniques to keep your property and the things in it looking amazing. Call 616-264-1397, and we will put the phone number in the show notes.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Well, back to the weather. Here's a look at our headline graphic. There'll be a chance for a shower or thunder shower this afternoon, and especially this evening and overnight. We could use some rain around here, at least in the Grand Rapids area. There'll be a continuing chance of a shower or thunder shower on Monday, probably nothing severe, and it's only a chance, not a sure thing. It will be dry midweek. If you're looking for a day when it should be dry, pick Wednesday of this week. High temperatures will be in the 70s the next few days, and then rising up into the 80s for the second half of next week. Taking a look right now at our sunrise and sunset times, we're approaching the longest days of the year. The summer solstice occurs on June the 20th, and the average high temperature is now up to 78. Sunrise now 6:04, sunset at 9:19. That gives us 5 hours and 15 minutes of daylight. We gain another 5 minutes or so before things start heading back in the other direction here. So, and again, a reminder there to wear some sunblock if you've got, especially if your skin is sensitive and apt to sunburn. Get the SPF, sun protection factor, 15 or higher. I have a 30 that I use myself. Okay, let's move along here. Take a look at the severe weather threat. And ooh, look at this. We've got a red area. That is a level 4 moderate risk for severe thunderstorms. They're warning for wind damage with wind gusts over 75 miles an hour and a possible derecho going across parts of Oklahoma and North Texas. That's the Red River of the South. The slight risk area comes up into Illinois. The marginal risk, as you can see, that dark green color there, that's level 1, comes up to Lake Michigan, to the southwest corner of Michigan. We'll keep an eye on things. I think the best bet is severe weather, though. We'll stay off to our south. But there will be a scattering of showers and thunder showers here later this evening and overnight. Taking a look at the outlook here for the day on Monday, large slight risk area covers almost all of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. While we have a chance for an isolated shower, thunder shower in Michigan, we are not expecting any severe weather here. Taking a look at how much rain we're going to will fall across the area here. This is the heavy rain outlook. Oklahoma to Texas to the East Coast. You've got areas there that should be getting over 1.5 inches in yellow. The red color indicates rainfall amounts there over 3 inches in orange and red. So there's another good soaking solid rain across the deep south. We have only lighter rain to look forward to here in West Michigan, so we'll zoom in and show you that. We're looking for anywhere from about 1/4 to or 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain in West Michigan, most of that coming Sunday evening and Sunday night. And like summer convective rain, it will be quite variable. Some areas will get more than others here. All right, let's take a look at the forecast for today. We're looking for temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. It will be a touch cooler near Lake Michigan during the mid to late afternoon. We'll call it increasing cloudiness during the afternoon. We should see some sun during the morning. Partly cloudy skies to start the day. Humidity drops to about 55%. Winds start out southeast, shift to the south-southwest during the afternoon, at about 5 to 15 miles an hour, maybe a little closer to the 15 than the 5 by late in the day. Taking a look at high temperatures specifically across the area, you can see some of the numbers there in the towns. 79 is for downtown Grand Rapids, 69 at South Haven, and that's probably about right. I would suspect South Haven gets up close to 70, and then the lake breeze boosts or kicks the temperature back down to around 65. Ludington, big doings up there. We talked about that. It's a big weekend for them. High temperature of 73 should be very pleasant. Can't rule out a thunder shower by late in the day up there, but hopefully we'll steer those away until the festivities are over from the big events that are going on up there. And taking a look at the high temperatures here for Monday, not a whole lot different. We'll see temperatures cool off just a couple degrees. 75 Grand Rapids, 66 at South Haven, and 69 at Ludington. The long-range outlook takes you out into, we got the baseball forecast too. I forgot I threw that in there. Sunday, 2 o'clock. Increasing cloudiness is expected, but temperatures should be up around 75 degrees. And the Whitecaps have been on a tear. They went through a stretch here where they won 14 out of 15 games. That's pretty amazing. So cheer your Whitecaps on. Again, the game starting at 2 o'clock. Now we'll take a look at the long-range outlook here as we get all the way into Thursday of the week. Sunday skies should be partly cloudy in the morning and then clouding up a bit in the afternoon. Some evening and overnight chances for showers and storms. And a lingering thunder shower here Monday afternoon, a possibility. Tuesday, the chance of rain, not zero, but it's pretty small, so I didn't put any raindrops down there. If you're looking for a day with some sunshine, pick Wednesday. Should be up into the low 80s in the afternoon and maybe even mid 80s here during the day on Thursday. And by Thursday, Friday, there's an outside chance for a shower or thunder shower. Nothing too terribly hot here. Nothing too terribly cold. We're comfortably down in the 50s here at night. Like this kind of weather, you don't spend a lot of money on heating or air conditioning. We have this pattern for you. How's the pattern look as we slide through the mid part of the month of June? Well, we're in the near normal category for temperatures, and I would agree with that. Average high temperature is 78 for this time of year, and it reaches the low 80s as we head into the second half of June. A little bit on the cool side for New England and the western United States, but much of the country seeing above average temperatures. And it does finally start to warm up a little bit up there in northern Alaska, where it's been quite chilly here over the past couple of weeks. In terms of the 8 to 14-day rainfall outlook, we're again in the near normal category, so near normal with both. And that, again, is probably right. There'll be some spotty, heavy amounts throughout the south, and especially down towards South Texas, a couple of rounds of thunderstorms along the Rio Grande Valley once again. So all in all, not a bad forecast to pass along. Can't rule out a thunder shower for later on today. Michelle, what you got for us today? An interesting tornado anniversary.
Yes, and a rare Saturday night off. I'm so happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go. June 8, 1953, the Flint Beecher tornado, when Bill Steffen was but 1 year old.
Yes, and that's something I was actually 2. I had just turned 2. I don't think I was paying much attention to Michigan tornadoes.
Deadliest tornado in Michigan history.
Yes.
And there it is from the National Weather Service.
This was a terrible tornado. As you can see, there's a list of the number of people killed by specific tornadoes. And we make the top 10 list here down on the bottom, 116 fatalities with that storm. There were nearly 1,000 injuries, and it just absolutely overwhelmed hospitals. Regular people just picked up somebody that was injured and drove them to a hospital, and hospitals were totally flooded in the Flint area, so they were asking for people to drive people 30, 40, 50 miles away where they would find better medical care. Beecher is a town right near Flint, and the tornado went through a very highly populated area of middle-class homes. We didn't have quite the tornado safety and the sirens sounding and everything like we do today. But this was certainly a tragic event. And what was interesting is the very next day, June the 9th, there was a large tragic tornado in Worcester, Massachusetts. And how they get Worcester out of Worcester, I don't know, but it's Worcester. So Interesting. So we had back-to-back days with very damaging tornadoes. It's interesting to look at your list right there. There's quite a variety of states. Now, two of the top tornadoes here in terms of tornado fatalities were in Mississippi. You know, when you think of tornadoes, you're thinking of Tornado Alley out through the Texas area, but it's Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska. But that area out there is very sparsely populated, especially back in the old days. But some really nasty tornadoes here. We've got 3 of the top 10 are from Mississippi. We've got Georgia, 2 from Missouri, the new Richmond tornado from Wisconsin. Wisconsin's had some pretty strong tornadoes, but the one that had produced the greatest loss of life was the Flint tornado, June 8th, 1953.
And really such a time gap between that and the Joplin tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Likely credited to better
part of
warning
that is
system.
because people know what to do during a tornado, so they're better apt to go to a safe area. That's an interesting picture, by the way. I mean, it's 1953, you didn't take, if I saw something like that, I would not be stopping to take a picture. I mean, but nowadays you're getting, pictures off of security cameras and vehicles and whatnot. So we have better pictures available. But crazy picture.
Touchdown at 8:30 p.m. and an 18.6 mile path. And in today's dollars, it would have been $229 million in damage.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. And keep in mind, at 8:30, when the tornado touched down, you're less than an hour until sunset, and it got dark. And we didn't have GPS in 1953. So let's say you're at the fire station, and you get a call that there's somebody hurt at Central and Main Street or something like that. How do you find out where Central and Main Street is? Because all the signs are gone, all the landmarks are gone.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I read was that people were leaving a drive-in theater and unknowingly drove right into it.
Yeah, right. And this was an area of a lot of middle-class people here that worked in the auto industry were hit by this tornado. And there's the path, generally west to east. And you can see it right through the roads you can see there. These are this is like a suburban area with north, south, and east-west roads here. You got Genesee, Mount Morris. You can see this went just to the north of the city of Flint, Richfield Center, and you can see it kind of curved a little bit there and kind of reformed toward the end. But and then the tornado continues east to Lake Huron. So if you look way over on the far end, what's interesting is you have this 19-mile path, and then that tornado lifted, and then a second one touched down and went all the way to Lake Huron. But this is the one that was deadly.
So this is more of the tornadoes that happened that day. There were 8 total in Michigan that day for a total of 125 deaths and 925 injuries. And this is a map of more of the tornadoes. Yes,
and you can see the one that became a water spout as it went over Lake Erie. And we think that and look at the categories there. We had an F5. We didn't have EF at the time, but we had an F5 and an F4. We had an F3 and then an F4 from Monroe County into Lake Erie. So these were strong tornadoes. These were not the small ones that we've had recently here in Michigan, the EF0s and EF1s.
And there was little advanced warning, which was a lot of the problem. And it's the last tornado in the U.S. with more than 100 deaths until Joplin, Missouri in 2011.
That's right. 2011 was a very deadly year for tornadoes. We started out kind of with almost the same tornado count, but things have kind of tapered off here of late, and we hope that trend continues.
All right, and it wasn't the only weather event in Michigan on June 8. We also had June 8, 2008. A strong storm system came across lower Michigan that resulted in 8 deaths. There were floods, there were straight line winds up to 80 miles per hour, and there were tornadoes, and there was 5 inches of rain in 6 hours in the Holland-Saugatuck area.
Yes, and I believe that that particular storm was one where we had a training effect, it's called. Can you imagine, stopping in your car to watch a train pass by, and each car goes over the railroad tracks over the same spot, and we call that training. You can pretty much see that the storms here would have been moving west to east, maybe a slight drift to the south, but you would get, instead of one storm, you would get several storms, each one producing maybe an inch of rain. And it was a wetter year in general than what we've had this year, so the ground was pretty saturated to begin with. But regardless, if you had dry ground or not, 5 inches of rain in 6 hours is going to cause a little bit of flooding.
And we've got pictures from that event. Here is some of that flooding in Holland.
As you can see, that I believe was if I remember that picture right, that was pretty close to US 31. In fact, I can't read. Let's see what says US 31.
It says flooding US 31 and East 40th Street.
Yeah. Because I remember the TV station went down there and got some video. Nowadays, we would get drone video of something like that, which would be even more impressive.
And here's some more. Here's Lakeshore Drive in Allegan County.
Yes, and I believe there was a car that drove into that. The road just wasn't there. It was somebody delivering the morning newspaper or a newspaper that their car fell into there. And that is the severe weather reports from that day. And look at the line. Every blue dot is a wind damage report. Every red dot is a tornado report. And every green dot is a small hail. You can see the small, or not small hail, but large hail. The large hail reports were Kansas, Colorado, down into Texas. We had a couple of tornadoes here in West Michigan. I'm trying to read the numbers; they're awful small, but that was over 300 wind damage reports, and it looks like that number is 16, maybe in parentheses right there. 16 reports of winds over 75 miles an hour. Yeah, death result. Look at the writing there. A car falling into a ravine because of washed out roads, falling trees, drowning, carbon monoxide from a generator, which is interesting because we can get storm fatalities after the storm is over from such things as carbon monoxide, or somebody sawing a tree up with a chainsaw gets injured or something like that. So you have to be real careful during the cleanup phase after a storm as well.
All right, it is World Oceans Day. So, Bill, what is your guess as to what % of the Earth's surface area is covered by water?
Oh, I used to know this exactly. It's probably between 70 and 75. I'll guess, does this include lakes?
It does include lakes, which make up approximately 4%.
All right, let's go with 74%.
Very good. That was very close. Impressive.
Yeah, maybe I thought there were too many lakes.
And what is the largest ocean in the world?
Does it begin with the letter P?
Maybe. That narrows it down.
Let's try Pacific.
Which wins by quite a lot. 63.8 million square miles at the Atlantic, 41.1, and going on from there.
Pacific is indeed the winner.
What oceans touch U.S. land?
Well, let's see. I think we can rule out the Antarctic, but we've got the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Arctic, U.S. land. Does that include, I don't know, do we have any territories in the Indian Ocean?
It includes the 50.
Just the 50? All right.
You've already got them. It's Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic.
Pacific, Atlantic. I was just wondering if there were any territories that bleed off into the Indian Ocean, but I guess not. Interesting.
The NFL and the AFL announced their merger on June 8, 1966, and the first Super Bowl was held in 1967. Who won?
Oh, golly. Let's guess the Green Bay Packers. Yes. How about that? Over the Chiefs. And the Hunt family owned the Chiefs. The city of Green Bay and all its inhabitants owns the Packers. They're the one team that you buy a share of. That's why the Packers will never move, because all the people that own the team are around Green Bay. Why would they pick up and move to Chicago's New Jersey or something like that? Green Bay will always be Green Bay, and they have done really well at player development over the years. They have done. It was almost the opposite of the Lions, because the Lions would get first round draft picks and they'd still not be able to put together a winning team. But the Packers have marketed themselves well. And the Hunt family owned the Chiefs. And it was interesting, the Hunt's daughter, Sharon Hunt, I think, who was 8 years old, All the team owners were meeting in Kansas City to try and determine a name for the Super Bowl. And little Sharon Hunt was playing with a Super Ball. And at her suggestion, it became the Super Bowl. So that's an interesting little side note.
Which was the best part about Mr. Fables, was the nickel and the fun machine and the Super Bowl.
Yes, and they're very nice people. I really enjoyed talking to the people at Mr. Fables.
Yes, and they would hook me up. They would keep the nickels coming until I would get a Super Bowl.
Yes, I know. That was so much fun. And
We
you would
had
get
an
you
understanding.
would get chicken strips.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Sometimes it took 4 or 5, but they just kept them coming.
Yeah, that was fun. We may still have a Super Bowl or two around here from that.
I'm
not
sure we do.
Yeah, they were fun.
Okay, June 8th. This Christian holiday or event takes place on the 49th day after Easter. It is a celebration of the descent of the Holy Spirit to early Christians and the beginning of the church's public mission. Its name comes from a Greek word meaning 50th because it is celebrated 7 Sundays after Easter.
And I will guess Pentecost.
Very good.
Oops, how about that?
Okay, a lot of photos tonight. This is Copper Peak near Ironwood in the UP.
Oh, that's the ski jump.
Yes.
Well, cool. It looks a little different in the summertime, doesn't it?
Would you go up there? Because I definitely would not.
No, I would not. I don't think so. You remember I don't know if you remember, but for many years, there was a Wide World of Sports on ABC Saturday
The
afternoon.
Agony of Defeat, of course I remember.
Okay, so they had some guy falling off a ski lift, and it was the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
Mm-hmm.
And the agony of defeat was with this poor guy that fell as he was going down a ski jump like that and then fell off. Now, he wasn't seriously hurt or anything like that, but golly, I mean, can you imagine being humiliated like that for weeks on end, for years on end, every Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
You had to watch yourself go flipping off a ski jump like that.
I do think they need to bring back my favorite Olympic sport of all time, ski ballet.
Ski ballet?
Yes, they like slowly go downhill on a bunny hill and they're like twirling over their poles and like dancing, and their outfits have like skirts on them. It's fantastic. I think it was only ever a demonstrative event in like 92 or 94 or something, but it needs to come back. The world needs it.
Well, that would be interesting to see. That would be for sure.
It's on YouTube.
Why don't I remember that? Probably because I was working and not watching the Olympics.
Okay, Copper Peak near Ironwood in the UP. So it is all the way up there. And they hosted ski jumping events from 1970 to 1994. And today it is now a chairlift and an elevator for tourists.
Wow. And so they're not ski jumping there anymore.
Not now. They're working on it. I guess they got a grant to get it started again.
Okay. Well, yeah, hold a bake sale, have a car wash, whatever.
So there's the look.
Oh, there's a wide view.
Nope.
Ooh,
Definitely
look at that up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that does not look. Oh, yeah.
Like if you hope your ride at Cedar Point doesn't get stuck and you have to walk down.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
No, look, especially at my age, I'm kind of done with the wild roller coasters, I think.
There was the time in London that I took you and Bree on the wheel.
The Eye.
Yes, the London Eye, and it did not go well. Neither of them liked heights, and I found that out midair.
Well, that was pretty high up too, and God, what else do I remember being high up on? Yeah, I've not done real well with the high heights. If I were to go to Cedar Point again, I might try the mine ride. The first hill goes down 6 feet. It's not.
So there's
not
a pro tip.
drop.
If you're going to take someone touring, you got to ask them before you take them on an eye or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else? So here's another view.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Holy cow.
So who was the first person to think, I'll put on some skis and see what happens?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I used to think about that, about smoking. Who was the first person that rolled up a tobacco leaf and lit the end of it and started breathing? I mean,
probably thousands and thousands of years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Look at that view, though.
Yeah, and that's something.
Yeah.
Wow. Nope, no thanks. I'll be down on the bottom.
Thanks for your pictures.
Manistee
This
Rose.
one from John Doherty, and I think it's not a type of rose because I actually looked it up. I think it's a rose that was located in Manistee and not a type of rose called a Manistee because there isn't one, but there should be.
Yeah, there are like hundreds of names of different roses. Different. Yeah, well, that's a pretty rose, yellowish there. Hybrids and everything that they have now, pretty amazing.
So thanks for that one. And John Scully.
Oh, look at that! Is that pretty? Are those maybe lilacs? Would they still be out?
So. Comment in the comments if you know.
Or early roses, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And it's your photos.
Yippee! Meyer
Did
Garden.
you take it or did Marie?
Marie took most of the pictures because I was in some of them. Yeah, but she's good at taking pictures. That's daughter number 2 for those people who aren't familiar with the family order here.
She's an amateur agriculturalist these days. She's got quite a garden operation going.
She's got, and some of her lettuce reseeded. And in May, they were eating lettuce out of the garden.
If I were there, I'd be asking for a farm share.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Other lovely ones? And you said this is Meyer Gardens?
Meyer Gardens, yeah. And the flowers are beautiful. If you got some time off, head out to Meyer Gardens. We did the sculpture walk. We went out to the lake. We did the farm. We went inside the conservatory. Ran into Mark Meyer. I think I mentioned that last night, didn't I? I don't know. Yeah, but I ran into Mark Meyer, who was there for a meeting on the Meyer Gardens. I've always found the Meyer family very friendly and approachable, really nice people, and they've done so much for the community here. A daisy. All of the wild daisies are coming out now. So if you look along the roadsides here, you'll be able to see some of those. Well,
right,
end of our program. Anything you want to add?
No, we had a good day. We had a pretty strong storm system blow through here in the afternoon.
Oh, you're going to get another one, maybe 2
tomorrow.
Yeah, and Monday. I was thinking, if you were a storm chaser this year, just park your car in Birmingham and enjoy the show.
There was a birthday party for one of the ladies from choir. She turned 85, and there was some question as to whether it was going to go, but it was good. We had the birthday party.
Well, very nice. Wish her a happy birthday from me.
Okay.
Who knows? She may not have gotten the birthday greeting from a meteorologist before, and that's an important thing to have happen in your life. On your bucket list, birthday greeting from a meteorologist. Where's James Stanton?
Yes,
right.
Well, he was doing live. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see. If you're interested in sponsoring us, please contact us. Have I forgotten anything else? Oh, yeah, we'll put the link to the store so you can get your Bill Steffen merch. And that supports the show. So thank you very much.
Right. And we thank our sponsors again, Complete Care Concierge and Ace Handyman Services. Hope you have yourself a great day today. And thanks so much for staying with us till the end.